So listen to this. Few players in modern football history embodied a more toxic love-hate relationship with the game than Samir Nasri. This was a man who lived and breathed football to the point where journalists regularly sought his tactical insight, knowing he could dissect any team's setup as if he were already a manager. He was a generational talent, hyped as the next Zidane, and in flashes, he carried himself with the dribbling elegance of Messi. He achieved more than almost every professional could dream of. Yet, for all the brilliance, he seemed forever perched on the edge of disillusionment, eager for the day he could finally walk away. He was addicted to controversy, incapable of keeping his mouth shut, and often his worst enemy. By the time his career collapsed in scandal, the fire that had once fueled him was long gone. In France, Nasri's legend began absurdly early. At just 9 years old, people in Marseille whispered about him as the spiritual heir to Zidane. He came from the same neighborhood, shared the same Algerian roots, and showed such raw talent that scouts rushed to secure him before anyone else could. AC Milan tried to steal him during a youth tournament in Italy, begging his family to leave him behind, but Marseille fought to keep him. By 16, he was part of the fabled 1987 generation, alongside Benzema and Ben Arfa, a golden crop that steamrolled through the under-17 Euros. Nasri scored in the semi-final against Portugal, then hit a 30-yard winner in the final against Spain, a squad that included Piqué and Fabregas. The timing was poetic. France's senior team had just crashed out of the Euros, and suddenly, the nation crowned these kids as its future. Marseille locked Nasri into their system, and by 17 he was playing first-team football. Even in chaotic years where the club burned through 6 different managers, he stood out. Fans dubbed him the Little Prince of the Velodrome. By his 3rd season, he was posting double-digit assists, outshining stars like Ribéry and Cissé, and winning Marseille's Player of the Year award by a landslide. The French league named him Young Player of the Year, with none other than Zidane himself handing him the trophy. It was more than symbolism, it felt like destiny. Marseille doubled down, building around him, and when Ribéry left for Bayern, Nasri was given the keys. But something changed. A bout with viral meningitis left him bedridden for 12 days, and Nasri emerged with a new bitterness. As he put it, the lack of visitors revealed how shallow football relationships could be. That was the beginning of his resentment, the seed of self-destruction that would follow him. Still, on the pitch, he was unstoppable. He led Marseille into back-to-back Champions League campaigns, topped assist charts, and gave fans hope that Zidane's torch had truly been passed. But Arsenal and Arsène Wenger were circling. The professor of French talent scouting couldn't resist. He signed Nasri for $16 million, believing he had landed another generational jewel. Nasri's Arsenal debut was electric. He scored 4 minutes in, and weeks later, 2 thunderbolts against Manchester United. Wenger declared him capable of becoming the best in the world. But Arsenal's captain, William Gallas, had other ideas. He publicly branded Nasri an insolent brat in his autobiography, exposing tensions that soon tore the dressing room apart. Gallas was stripped of the armband, ostracized, and eventually left for Spurs, while Nasri cemented his reputation as a divisive figure. Despite the chaos, his first Arsenal season showed promise, though consistency eluded him. He was dazzling in moments, overshadowed in others by Fabregas and Van Persie. His second year was worse. Whispers about his fitness, accusations he was a footballer but not an athlete, and a broken leg that cost him 3 months. Yet, at his lowest, he produced brilliance again. A Champions League strike so spectacular that pundits compared him to Maradona and Matthews. When France imploded at the 2010 World Cup, Nasri, left out of the squad, mocked his teammates as the laughingstock of world football. He called the manager's downfall satisfying. In classic Nasri fashion, bitterness became fuel. The following season was his best yet. Determined to prove himself, he exploded with goals and assists, tearing defenses apart with confidence and swagger. He destroyed Spurs in the League Cup, dismantled Fulham with wonder goals, and racked up Player of the Month awards. The French Federation, despite previously ignoring him, crowned him Player of the Year. Arsenal fans adored him, but behind the scenes he was seething. He demanded a new contract equal to Fabregas's wages. When Arsenal delayed talks, he claimed disrespect. By summer, he was gone, signing for Manchester City in a move that shattered his relationship with Arsenal supporters. Branded a traitor and a mercenary, he reveled in the hate. When Arsenal struggled, he taunted fans to look at the table, flaunting his Premier League medal after Aguero's famous last-minute winner sealed the title. But Nasri's career followed a cruel pattern. Peaks of brilliance, valleys of drama. In Euro 2012, he scored against England, then ruined the moment by shouting at reporters to shut their mouths. After France's elimination, he verbally abused another journalist, earning a 3-match ban and unofficial exile from the national team. His club form dipped, and his managers oscillated between praising his talent and tearing their hair out at his inconsistency. Mancini once admitted he wanted to punch him for only performing in flashes. Under Pellegrini, Nasri briefly rediscovered his magic, contributing heavily to City's 2014 title run and proving his class with decisive goals. But even then, the French Federation dropped him for the World Cup, citing his disruptive influence. At 27, he announced his international retirement in frustration. Many suspected he was already quitting the sport in spirit. Injury after injury piled up. Fans mocked his weight, rival players mocked his attitude, and managers lost patience. Guardiola, never one for excuses, dismissed him outright, saying, "Nasri is overweight and always injured." Sevilla offered a lifeline, but scandal followed him there too. A bizarre incident at a Los Angeles clinic spiraled into a doping violation, a humiliating Twitter hack by his girlfriend, and ultimately, a FIFA ban. Antalyaspor terminated his contract, and though West Ham and Anderlecht gave him final chances through old friends like Pellegrini and company, he could barely stay fit enough to feature. By the time the pandemic shut football down, Nasri's career was already over in all but name. When he finally announced his retirement, his disheveled appearance and lack of passion told the world he had been done with football long before. Samir Nasri's story is a tragedy of talent undone by ego, scandal, and disillusionment. He was adored in Marseille, reviled in London, and celebrated in Manchester. He could look like Zidane reborn one week and like a sulking passenger the next. He was obsessed with the game yet resentful of it, forever trapped between love and hate. In the end, football didn't abandon Nasri, he abandoned it, even while still lacing up his boots.